Okay, so I'm somewhere in the Lumberwoods. I don't know exactly where, and I managed to recover the file that I was looking for. But there is someone or something following me. So I have to get to the nearby DCI safe house as fast as possible. Okay, we're finally here. Alright guys, so I managed to make it to the safe house safely, and I recovered the file, but just in case I don't make it out of this one alive, I'm gonna be sharing the contents of the file I recovered and uploading it. So this file has been compiled from surveying the lumberjacks of America and all of the stories that they have passed along throughout the generations into this one file, which I have the only copy with me at the moment. Okay, so the first cryptid that I'll be talking about is the slide rock bolter. So the slide rock bolter comes from the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, where the reports have been, and basically it's a massive whale creature with a hooked tail, and what it does is it hooks onto the side of mountains and it waits for its prey to arrive, which makes it very dangerous. One of the most patient cryptids out there. And then when an unsuspecting tourist goes by the bottom of the mountain where the bolter's lined up, it basically unlatches, it starts to slide, and it uses its drool to lubricate itself. So it goes and then it goes. It allows itself to have a lower force of friction and a higher velocity down the mountain, and then, you know, the unsuspecting tourist is sadly crushed. In the areas where the bolters can be found, it is advised to use extreme caution, especially when walking around mountainous areas. And a good way to prevent getting flattened is to use binoculars and look up the mountain to make sure that the bolter is nowhere to be found. All right, so next up we have the highly dangerous agropelter. So the agropelter has a long wiry body, it has the face of an ape, and it has arms that are like whips, and it lives inside of hollowed out trees. So many lumberjacks report getting hit by stray branches that have been thrown by the agropelter, who targets unsuspecting victims who walk by. There is only one recorded case of someone surviving an agropelter attack, and their head got split open, so they barely got a good look at the creature, but nonetheless, the survival rate is very, very low. Okay, so the next terrifying creature that I have to discuss is called the snollygoster. So this creature lives in the swamps, and it basically resembles an alligator, except it is lined with kind of like a fur. And the way that it traverses through these swamps is the end of its tail has 3 bony plates that function as like a speedboat motor, and it propels itself through the water. Now, the terrifying thing about this creature is it has an appetite only for humans. So once it catches up to a human, it actually uses its bony tail to basically kill them. But not only does it kill them with the bony tail, but it digs a hole with the tail, it drops them in the hole, and then it grinds them up kind of like a blender does, and then it kind of inhales the human blender parts. Okay, so I think I've spent a little too long in the dark, so I'm gonna try to go see if I can figure out how to get the power working. Alright guys, so I did an inventory check to see what we got here. I found these pants, they seem to fit well, so I put them on. And we also got some food and other supplies in this fridge here. It's been off for a while, but it should probably be fine. So I think I'm gonna make some food while I discuss the rest of the file. Alright, so next up we got an interesting one. This guy's called the Wampa Lucy. And basically, it looks like a cross between a a hot dog. What are they called? Dachshunds, and a mouse, but it is not related to either of them. And its main skill is being able to climb incredible heights, and it lives on fungal shelves, so it climbs up dead trees that are hundreds of feet tall in order to reach its home. So one of the craziest properties of these creatures was found out when a hunter tried to make one into a pair of mittens. So basically he put on the pair of mittens and he grabbed his axe, and the handle automatically climbs up the axe. And it did the same for every single thing that he tried to hold. So he basically discarded the gloves, and rumor has it that they are still crawling away and climbing into the distance to this day. Alright, so I found some chicken, some pepperoncinis, and some onions and peppers, as well as some cream. So I'm going to be making some creamy pepperoncini chicken. Alright, so the next creature that we have to talk about is called the tripodero. So the tripodero, it basically has two long legs and a kangaroo-like tail, and the two legs can extend up as high as it needs. So what it does is it travels around through the brush, and it extends above the trees to see everything. And then in order to hunt its prey, what it does is it bends itself down to the elevation it needs. It always carries a reserve of clay in its mouth. So it spits the clay onto its prey, it clays them, and then it eats them up. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to the tripodero. Alright, so the next creature I gotta talk about is the squonk. So the squonk is this little dude, he lives in Pennsylvania, and they've got this skin that's like very folded, and it's got like warts and stuff on it, and it's very unhappy about its appearance. So this creature basically sheds tears everywhere it goes, it's always crying. The squonk hunters actually, the best squonk hunters can track the tears to follow the creature wherever it's going. But the thing is, when the squonk gets too sad, it dissolves into a puddle of tears. So we have an account from this one hunter who captured a squonk by imitating it, put it in a sack, and then as he was going, he could feel the sack get lighter. He looked in the sack, and all that was left was a pile of tears. Okay, so I low-key forgot to make a side. I was gonna make penne, but I just forgot. So I guess these, the peppers and pepperoncinis are gonna also be my side. So the last cryptid, Okay, so the last cryptid that I like to discuss is the leprechaun. So how did leprechauns get involved with lumberjacks, you may ask? So they were originally obviously native to Ireland. During the famine in Ireland, leprechauns almost went extinct because they were eaten as a source of food. Very interesting. But they made their way to Canada. So in Ireland, they were very playful creatures. You know, nobody really had a big problem with them. They were just kind of known as, you know, tricksters. But in Canada, they started causing a big mess. They reproduced all over. They spread all the way to Michigan, and they would actually mess with lumberjacks and their lumber and just cause problems for everybody. But yeah, that's all the information from the file. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and upload it now, and hopefully I can make it out of here in one piece. But who knows, maybe I'll stay here, keep making some food. And yeah, so I might see you next time, I might not, but yeah.